We are picking up in Mark the 7th chapter. We're going to be looking at verses 24 through 30. By way of a quick recap, Jesus had just discussed to the people the idea of what defiles a man, and that it was not what goes in, but what comes out from the heart. So he has given them this teaching, and now we'll pick up reading at verse 24. And from there he arose and went to the region of Tyre and Sidon, and he entered a house and wanted no one to know it, but he could not be hidden. For a woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard about him, and she came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by birth, and she kept asking him to cast the demon out of her daughter. But Jesus said to her, "Let the children be filled first, for it is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs." And she answered and said to him, "Yes, Lord, yet even the little dogs under the table eat from the children's crumbs." Then he said to her, "For this saying, go your way, the demon has gone out of your daughter." And when she had come to her house, she found the demon gone out, and her daughter lying on the bed. And so here, once again, we have a very brief account of Jesus' teaching and events during his life and his teachings. And so we're going to quickly go through and see what we can learn from this for ourselves. And once again, how we can take this, not go to other scriptures, but simply take what's in front of us and use it to teach someone who may be seeking to learn more about Jesus Christ. In verses 24 through 26, we'll read those again very quickly. It says, "And from there he arose and went to the region of Tyre and Sidon, and he entered a house and wanted no one to know it, but he could not be hidden. For a woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit and heard about him, and she came and fell at his feet. The woman was a Greek, a Syrophoenician by birth, and she kept asking him to cast the demon out of her daughter." And so the first thing that we see is he arose and went to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And so what he's done is he has left the region of the Jewish people, and he has gone and he has entered into a Greek region. And really there's not a whole lot that we have to do to explain to someone that we are studying with. We don't have to go into great detail about the different regions and things, but just as a reminder, we can let this person know and remind ourselves that the Jews had nothing to do with the Greeks and vice versa, that these people did not interact with one another. And then it says he entered a house and wanted no one to know it. And so there might be some questions that come to someone's mind. Why would he not want to let people know where he is? One possibility, and I've listed it here, is that we mentioned before all this teaching earlier back in chapter 6 that he had been seeking time to go and to rest. So it's possible that he didn't want anyone to know because he needed, or he desired time to rest and to recharge. It's possible, and some have surmised that maybe it was simply that he didn't want to, at this point, offend the Jewish people to a great degree because there was still much teaching to be done, and so he didn't want potentially the Jews hearing of the fact that he was dwelling with and spending time with the Greeks. There are some other possibilities. Some have speculated that maybe it's because if he went into a Greek home, all of those Jewish people who were seeking after him would not think to enter a Greek home. And all of those are speculation. And so what we really want to make sure that we emphasize with anyone that we're studying with is that he entered a house and he wanted no one to know it. We don't have his mind specifically. We don't know for sure exactly what it is that he was thinking. Again, there is speculation out there, but the importance is to hold to what God's word says. And at this point, Jesus did not desire for others to know where he was. And then we have the phrase, but he couldn't be hidden. His fame had also spread not just amongst the Jews, but we can see that his fame has spread into the Gentile region as well. And so there is this idea that we can emphasize that Jesus Christ cannot be hidden. No matter where he goes, people are aware of the good that he is doing and the teachings that he is providing. And then it gives us the reason why. It says, for a woman whose young daughter had an unclean spirit heard about him, and she came and fell at his feet. So again, it is this idea of the fact that she heard about him. And obviously what she has heard is that this man is capable of performing miraculous things, because she has come to him for something. She hasn't seen him per se, but his fame has spread, and so she's heard of what he's done, and she knows what he can do. And then it gives us a reminder of who this woman is and her background. A Greek and a Syrophoenician by birth. And there's this, really, it's a double emphasis that's placed on the background of this woman, and it's a reminder to us, and the emphasis that we can put to the people that we may be studying with is that the Jews had no dealings with the Gentiles. They do not spend time together. They do not like one another. And she, as she's fallen on his feet, keeps asking him, and what she keeps asking is to remove the demon out of her daughter. She's asking him to perform a miraculous act. She's heard of what he's done, she believes in what he's done, and she shows her faith in Jesus by asking him to do this miracle. This also shows her strong love for her daughter. Again, why would a Greek, a Syrophoenician, try to go to one who was a Jew? What right would she think, based on how these people lived, that Jesus as a Jew would have anything to do with this woman? But she loves her daughter enough that she goes and she puts herself in a position where she is going to approach the Jewish individual and pass those, what we would call, past those blockades or obstacles that would normally exist between her and a Jew, because she wants her daughter healed, and she's willing to go to whatever lengths may be necessary to make that happen. Continuing on in verse 27, after we read that she continually asks him to do this, his response is, let the children be filled first, for it is not good to take the children's bread and throw it to the little dogs. Verse 28, and she answered and said to him, yes, Lord, yet even the little dogs under the table eat from the children's crumbs. And so some people might first be taken aback. Let the children be filled first. I'm not here to do for you. I am here not for the Greeks, but I am here for the Jews. Those are the children that I've come and I'm here to help. He lets the woman know that his responsibility is to the Jews, but he mentions, let the children be filled first. And so if it's first, then there is an indication that others may be filled after. They might not be first, they might not get it first, but at some point there will come a time when others may be filled as well. And again, as we're talking and we're looking at this back and forth between Jesus and this woman, we need to recognize who we are talking about. And so the children, of course, that are being talked about are the Jews. They are the ones that should be filled first. And the term the dogs refers to the Gentiles. And this is how the Jews actually viewed the Gentiles. They looked at them as nothing more than dogs. They saw themselves to be in a much higher position. She then goes on in response and says, "Yes, Lord." The first thing that we want to make note of here is that she's willing to respond. She's heard what's been said, what sounds like basically no, and in our minds, we might have just walked away. We might have just given up. Someone says, well, I'm here for the Jews. I'm not here for the Gentiles. I'm going to take care of my people. I'm not going to take care of you dogs. She humbly accepts her position. She does not dispute what Jesus has to say. She does not argue with the words that he uses. She is actually going to use the very analogy and the very words that Jesus does to speak to him. She recognizes his position over her, first of all, and recognizes him as Lord. And then she makes the she makes the statement, little dogs under the table eat from the children's crumbs. So she was saying, yes, even those that are in a lower position, the children don't worry about the crumbs that fall, those things that go by the wayside, if you will. She's actually using Jesus' own terminology to continue her requests. And she recognizes that all she needs are the crumbs from Jesus. All she needs are the leftovers. All she needs are what's left of what he has to give that will take care of her. So even little dogs are taken care of. And it's an interesting concept, and it's an interesting discussion that takes place here. And because of this discussion, we have verses 29 through 30. He said to her, "For this saying, go your way, the demon has gone out of your daughter." And when she had come to her house, she found the demon gone out, and her daughter lying on the bed. For this saying, go your way, the demon has come out of your daughter. He doesn't say, come, let's go to your house and let me see your daughter. Let me touch your daughter. Let me go there and confront the demon and command him to come out of your daughter. He simply lets her know the healing's already taken place. And that's an important concept. It's not that she's going to be healed. It's not that at some point the demon will be gone. He speaks of it as a situation. He says the healing has already taken place. The demon has gone out of your daughter. And we read on, when she had come to her house, she found the demon was gone out and her daughter lying on the bed. And so we need to recognize this woman, this Greek Syrophoenician woman, who would be looked at as one who was not worthy to speak to a Jew, much less a Jewish teacher. This woman knew what Jesus could do for her daughter. She had a faith that went beyond that of most people, and she was not going to allow anything to stop her from having her daughter helped. She was going to get to Jesus. She was going to overcome whatever obstacles might be in the way because of her faith. And as you sit and you think about that type of terminology, the idea that a person says there are no obstacles that are going to get in the way of my getting to Jesus. There are no obstacles that are going to keep him or me from getting to him to heal me or to meet my needs. And you can go on and you can use this as a springboard, a sounding board to go further into the idea of what it means for someone to say there's nothing going to stop me from getting to Jesus and his healing power. So we'll kind of leave it at that thought. And the last thing that we can say is the woman got to see the reward of her faith. Her faith, her actions based on that faith, allowed her to receive the reward for which she was seeking. And in this particular case, that was the reward of the healing of her daughter. for man today, if we are willing to continue to follow our faith, if we are willing to believe in what Jesus can do for us, if we are willing to overcome any obstacles to get to him, if we are willing to do anything that he would have us do, we too can one day see a reward of that faith. So we're going to pick up in our next study, beginning at verse 31, and we will look at another example of the healing power of Jesus, and we'll look at what that means to us and what we can learn from it. Thank you.